Hello, and welcome to this thought for the day. Last time I did this, I shared with you a Bible verse written by the Apostle Paul, where he gives this advice: test everything, hold on to the good. In other words, whatever comes your way, different opinions, lifestyles, what people do and believe, in any situation really, don't prejudge. Take your time to think and examine, and then make a decision whether you find this acceptable and adopt it, or whether you reject it and say this is not right. And I think that's really good advice for Christians and anybody. But how do you do this? How do you decide what is right and good and what isn't? History is full of examples where people made decisions that turned out to be wrong. I have made decisions in my life that I thought to be right and sensible, and I'm sure you have, only to find out later that they weren't. How do we test things properly? If you do a test, say, if I do a blood test on a patient, the lab sends me the result back. But in order to say whether this is okay or not, I need to know the normal range for this test. And if I don't know this, and sometimes I need to look it up, then I cannot make any judgment. I need a standard to measure against. And that applies to everything in life. Everything that comes your way. Lifestyle choices, political opinions, personal decisions. You need to have a standard to say, this is good, this is right, this is wrong, this is bad. Now, a blood test is considered normal if it lies within the middle range of what 95% of healthy individuals have. But is that true for the rest of our life? In my home country, Germany, an overwhelming majority voted at some stage for Adolf Hitler. Does that mean it was right? Clearly, just aligning ourselves to the majority does not help us with good decision making. If you are a Christian, then your source of truth ultimately is not human opinion, but God. Because God is eternal, unchanging. He is the source of all knowledge and wisdom. He has created the world and us. If there's anybody who knows how things should be done, it's Him. If there's anybody who could give us competent guidance on moral issues, personal issues, how to live this life well, it would be Him. In order to find out His will, He has given us His Word, the Bible. He has given us our brains, and also inspired people before us who struggled with questions and eventually found answers. Of course, the Bible does not have one fitting verse to simply answer every question. Sometimes we need to weigh up. What does the Old Testament say? What was Jesus' attitude? How did the apostles and the early church deal with this? It will take some effort, study, discussion. And sometimes even Christians come to slightly different conclusions. But that is still better than just aligning ourselves to whatever narrative the world around us has to offer at the time. In fact, we need to have the courage as Christians to be different when there is a clash of opinions. We don't need to hide. What has been entrusted to us is eternal truth. We need it. And the world needs it too. So test everything. Ask God what He thinks. And then hold on to the good and get rid of the bad. Let's do this together. Let's start today.